Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to We Still Like Each Other, the podcast. My name is Stephanie.
My name is Travis.
And this is the podcast where we prove that the honeymoon stage never, ever has to end.
Never.
How are you, babe?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel like the weeks are going by quicker and quicker. Like it feels like we just dropped episode 21 and it's like episode 22 is tomorrow.
Yeah, it's insane. I blink and we're back here.
It could also be that we've been heavy into getting ready for the baby to come.
Yeah.
And then trying to get so much done before he arrives is making the time feel like it's going by even quicker. Could it be that?
No, probably. I feel like we haven't had a day where we're just doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go to work, I come back and it's just straight to some task. Build this, throw away that, organize this. So
Eli needs this. He has an appointment here.
it's a lot. But, you know, I can see the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the very far distance, but I think we're almost there.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of preparing for the baby, last week we had guests, so we didn't really get to recap like what's been going on in our life.
Shout out to our guests too.
Shout out to our guests. They were awesome. We've received really great feedback from that episode. On TikTok, people have been arguing in the comments. It was a good week. So yeah, the reason we're preparing so much and stressing so much that the baby's coming, I technically still have 6 weeks until my due date. But River, our baby, was measuring almost 3 weeks bigger than his gestational age.
That's my baby.
It is. So I don't know if you all remember, but I mentioned that Travis was 10 pounds and 14 ounces when he was born.
Let that simmer. Let that simmer.
So I'm a little scared. Eli measured like his typical expected weight, and he was born 10 days early. So now I'm thinking, if Eli was 10 days early and River's 3 weeks bigger, he could be here a whole 5 weeks ahead of schedule or 4 weeks, you know, and that scares me. Because if that's the case, we have like, what, a week left or 2 weeks left? We never know.
Then I'm looking around this apartment.
And it's not suitable for
We are
her.
not ready. We are
ready.
not ready. Don't let this nice background fool you.
Yeah. So if you do watch on YouTube, our little background setup is a little different. The photos we had there are gone. And that's because they kind of put a fresh coat. They put a fresh coat of paint in our apartment. Kinda. They didn't do a really good job. It was a shit show. You want to talk about that?
I mean, the Bronx was Bronxing.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of how our week went because of it.
Yeah, so our management company offered to paint our apartment pro bono. So we're like, hell yeah. We wanted it done. We were willing to pay, but because we had some other issue, they said, we'll take care of it.
As a courtesy.
And so we decided that we were going to get I think we're kind of going in reverse order, but whatever, doesn't matter.
What?
I'm in terms of timeline of the week, but
okay,
whatever.
It doesn't matter.
So we got a hotel room, and yeah, we were expecting it to get done. They showed up late. They said it was going to take more than 1 day. So we spent the night at the hotel and just hoped for the best.
Yeah.
And then when we came back home the next day, it was as bad as you could think. Just dust everywhere.
It wasn't complete in time.
Yeah, we were basically trying to like clean up certain areas. So
while they were still painting other areas.
So Steph could start tutoring, and yeah, it was just a shit show. Where, you know, it looks better, but you could tell it was like half-assed.
Since they had to paint all the walls, we had to move everything to the center. So it kind of felt like we just moved in again. Like everything was out of place, you know, with the exception of the cabinets and the closets, but everything was back in the center, reorganizing. It was just a mess. I have like PTSD because you know, they made it, our management company made it seem like as a courtesy, yes, because we inconvenienced you before, but it was a big inconvenience. The contractor they hired to paint was rude. He was upset. His apprentice, you can tell, was like his first day on the job. There's still spots around the house that I'm like, he didn't touch this with paint. I can tell this wasn't painted over properly. He fixed something in our bathroom, but it looks so terrible. Like, if this was our home, if we owned this apartment,
we'd be pissed.
We would have raised hell. But we're like, you know what? We're renting. It is what it is.
Yeah. I just know, you know, like you all know, I've worked for high-rise buildings before, and this type of treatment would be unacceptable. Like, someone's head would get chopped off for this.
But this is in the Bronx, and it's like a decent building, I guess, but it's not like one of the fancy ones where Travis used to work at.
Yeah, that kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
Because the price is kind of close to that.
Yeah, we pay way too much fucking rent for this kind of treatment. Absolutely.
You know, first world problems.
First world problems, for real. You heard the Bronx heat in the background. That's probably going to pick up in the video. It stopped.
Oh, yeah, the clank, clank,
the
clank.
Clank, clank. But that's how you know we warm. So let's count our blessings. The week before that, we went and had a little staycation upstate New York.
Yeah, we went up to New Paltz.
Yeah, so I went to college in New Paltz, New York. It's a beautiful town. So every once in a while, I make it my business to go back up there and have breakfast, lunch, dinner, stay at a hotel, something. So we did that. And some of our friends live up in that area now, the Hudson Valley. So we linked up with them. That was pretty nice.
Yeah. It was also nice because our son Eli is obsessed with hotels.
He sure is.
And it doesn't matter what type of hotel. It doesn't matter the star of the hotel. He's just obsessed with hotels. So when he found out we were staying in a hotel, he, I think you said, guess where we're going or something like that?
Uh-huh. And when I said, it's a hotel, he instantly said, a Holiday Inn Express.
To him, that's like top tier.
What?
It's so funny because we walk into a room and he'll just be impressed by the craziest things. He'll be like, whoa, they have a coffee machine. Look at this microwave. The water turns on. And I'm like, what the hell do you like? You would think we live in a cave. Like,
he saw the microwave. I said, you know, we have a microwave, right? And he's like, but look, this one has a popcorn button. I'm like, so does ours. He probably can't see ours. It's too high.
It's so cute.
It is.
So
it's adorable.
We haven't really been able to do much with him this past year as far as vacation. So it was nice to have a little weekend with him. It felt good. And then, you know, we went to that place for breakfast when we met up with our friends.
Main Street Bistro in New Paltz, New York. If you're from the area, you already know. It's one of the best places to have breakfast. It's so affordable. The service is always amazing. And it hit the spot. It hit every spot I wanted it to hit. It was delicious.
And then after that, we went to her old college, the campus, SUNY New Paltz.
And you had never walked around it, you said, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
But just kind of like roaming the campus, I've never done that.
Because you went to my graduation there.
Yeah, and I've definitely been there a few times, but I don't remember having the experience
that we just had, that we like walked through.
It was beautiful.
Took in the views.
Steph recently started taking pictures again, so you know, blew the dust off her camera and got some nice photos. I had a really good time, and I'm not even like the nature guy. Yeah. But even I was like, wow, this is nice.
Is beautiful, right? To live here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Made me want to get more room.
More like what?
Outdoor room for the kids.
Look at you. You want to leave the city, baby?
I do, and I don't. I'm on the fence. Why? I just want to be close to it. You know, get here in like 15, 20 minutes.
That's not far enough to get space.
Yeah. Well, no, you can. It's just the price.
The price, yeah.
I don't know.
Because to get like the kind of space we want in our tax bracket, we got to go like an hour or two at least. That's being generous.
And I don't mind traveling. Steph is the person who doesn't like traveling, especially for work. Mm-hmm. I'll suck it up.
I can't do the routine, the mundane, like 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, 45 minutes like that. I can't. It makes me crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine if I could do like 2 hours back and forth, or so 4 hours.
Oh no, I don't think I would want you to, because it would make me feel like I'm wasting so much time with you. You know, like that's 4 hours without your family in a day, plus the 8 hours you're working. That's half of the day.
8 hours is being generous.
And yeah, because you really work 9 hours because your lunch doesn't count. So that's 13 hours. And you're going to sleep 8 hours at night. So you get, 3 hours
3 to 4 hours.
With your family? No.
This is ghetto.
Yeah, it is. Then that means I got to cook and do the dishes? Nah.
You're going to get 1 less hour of sleep.
You gotta help me clean this kitchen. And River needs a bath.
Yeah, let's stay in the city.
Yeah, that's why I try to stay content and live in the moment. Oh. I try, because I do have those moments where I'm like, I want the space. I want a bigger space, especially in preparing for a new baby. I have those feelings of we need an extra room. Or when we're setting up our podcast equipment, I'm like, I wish we had a studio.
Where this was just sitting.
This was sitting there instead of us having to like move our dining table and all that stuff. But then I try to take it in. I try to bring it back and appreciate that we do have a beautiful space. And we do have so much convenience being right here, so close to Eli's school, so close to your job. The fact that I'm not working outside of the home, we need to just enjoy this and be happy with this for at least another year or two.
Check you out. Check you. That clip we posted today really
progress.
Really hit.
You know what it is, for my own sanity too, because I don't want to drive myself crazy thinking of where we should be and what we need when we are very fortunate with what we have.
That's a fact.
You know, so.
You know me. I love it here.
But you just said it made me want space. That's why we got into this conversation. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, I mean, I can appreciate both. And I could see in the future, I don't know how soon, but it's something that definitely crosses my mind. And I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
I'm going to put this into the universe. Sometime in the future.
Okay.
You'll be working from home full time. And we'd be able to move somewhere that wouldn't require you to travel to and from work all the time.
I hear you, and I raise you. Sometime in the future, we will both be entrepreneurs that no longer have to work for anyone. Yeah,
I said working from home. I didn't say working for someone else.
Okay.
That could be working for yourself.
Okay.
Working for us.
Let's put that out in the universe.
Put it in the universe. And then we'll still be close enough to the city where we can make like monthly visits. Okay. But not close enough where we're going to get a tiny little backyard. We're going to have space.
Yeah. No air pollution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much less.
Gotcha.
Where our lungs are going to have to adjust. We live right by busy streets and highways right now. Yeah. They're going to be like, ooh, what's this? Clean air. All right. Let's get into our topics.
Wait,
what?
We forgot one big thing about something we missed while we didn't get an update on our lives.
What?
So you remember a few weeks ago, Steph made me a doctor's appointment.
Oh, okay.
I went to the doctor. And
he's not dying. Woo!
Well, the doctor actually said that I'm like in too good of a shape. He actually signed me up for a study because they were thinking about like cloning the perfect human.
He's lying.
So I'll be doing a study for, they just want to know like what the perfect man should.
Cap. That is cap.
Yeah, it was cool. Nice doctor.
He told you maybe you should work out a little more.
He did say to work out a little more. They took some blood, and your boy is lacking in some vitamin D. Mm-hmm. So I've been popping vitamin D pills every morning.
Yeah, you need some sun.
Yeah, you missed the joke for D in the mouth, but okay.
Hey, yo. I'm so mature. Pause. You didn't say pause.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm not dying.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that was my concern. I wanted your blood taken, your blood pressure taken, and all that, just to make sure, because you never know.
I told him he needs to take my blood pressure when I'm home with my wife to get an accurate reading. So we'll have to do that again.
You're fine, baby. I'm not that bad. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, of course, it's been like 5 days since this hit the internet, so you all might be tired of it. However, we have to discuss what went down with DaniLeigh and Da Basura, like I've called him.
Da Baby.
Da Baby.
Put some respect on that man's name.
Ew. So yeah, I don't even know how to approach this because there's so many layers to it.
So you want to give some backstory?
So first, what happened? What is it that was trending? What was everybody talking about? I feel like based on who our audience is, most people know. Mm-hmm. But quick recap, Da Baby went on Instagram Live, and was basically telling the world, like, you need to see that this girl's crazy. And she was in the background saying, well, you try to kick me out at 3:00 in the morning. So it looked like he was trying to save his ass. Like, I want the world to see that she's crazy. But he didn't show the world what he did to set her off, first of all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other part about that live that no one's talking about is he was trying to call on the people that were in the background. It was like a man and a woman. Like, right, she was doing this, or right? And they looked scared. They were like they didn't want to be in it. It
was just very toxic. I don't even know the order of things that happened. I know he was I read something like he was at a hotel and she had a plan B sent to his room because he like be fucking a bunch of randos.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I thought she bought the plan B for herself.
No, that's why she posted the picture of the plan B, because that was an earlier reference to her sending a plan B to his room for whatever girl he may have been fucking. It's just very toxic.
Yeah.
But what do you want to focus on with this story?
I feel like for me, what's most important is how we choose who deserves compassion and who doesn't. DaniLeigh, the female in this story, is, for lack of a better word, corny as fuck. She has openly been colorist. She has openly been like a pick-me kind of girl. Da Baby has humiliated his baby mother before in a similar manner, but she was in the background like, he wants me, I'm better. And in being a pick-me, she also made a very toxic and problematic song about being yellow bone.
Yellow bone is what he wants.
And it was a horrible song in terms of artistry anyway.
Well, before DaniLeigh has gone into all this toxic drama and shade room worthy topics, mm-hmm. I actually fuck with her. Remember that time when we were listening to her album? I was playing it a lot.
She was she was okay.
Like her talent to me isn't out of this world.
Yeah.
But she made some good songs.
Her last album did have a few really good songs.
I think it was like I think every song had a music video.
Yeah.
So I remember one night we even watched
like a project out for it with really bad wigs.
I actually fuck with her artistry. Uh-huh. So to see her in all this drama and this back and forth and this, it's very disappointing. Okay. I don't think she's like some Beyonce level talent, mm-hmm. but she could, manage. She could support herself with this career.
Mm-hmm. So the reason I wanted to focus on that is because since she made that song, a lot of the dialogue on Monday, Tuesday, when this was all really hot was, well, good for her. That's what she gets because of her comments.
Karma,
for, let's say. So there's two different ways we could look at this. We could say that it's her karma for her laughing and enjoying it and feeling like she was better than the baby mother. But not like, oh, fuck her because she's a colorist. Like, I feel like two things can be true. It was whack as fuck as her to make that song. But who was in the background of the video hyping her up? Da Baby, right? He was in the video with his side chick hyping her up, right? About it.
Side chick.
You know, as he liked to call her, even though clearly that was his girl. And I'm not saying she should be forgiven for that. And actually, our guest from last week said it very perfectly. Like, she's corny as fuck for that. But two things can be true. We can call her out on her problematic comments while also having some compassion for her as a woman who's being humiliated publicly right now. So I get that. Danileigh said it perfectly in her stories. The other thing is, so many people felt like, oh, why they gotta put it on live? Just handle that on your own. That's the biggest problem that y'all saw with this. The fact that it was public.
You know, that's all those people who say you should handle your business in private or don't let people in on your relationship, which can be, you know, marriage advice for us. That was another thing everyone kept telling us, you know, make sure you work it out amongst yourselves because, you know, you tell someone your problems and although you forgive them the next day, but that person never forgets. Mm-hmm. So basically, if me and you have an issue, never, ever go to anyone else with it. And that shit, the longer, like in the first maybe 1 to 2 years of our marriage, I thought that, oh, nah, that's Bible. Like, that's the law. We got to go by that. But the longer time goes on, you see how fucking problematic that is and can lead to some shit because where do you draw the line?
Sometimes you need people. You need help. You need support. You need to talk it out with someone. Because
you're not always... Well, what if me and you never come to an agreement? The one person never sees the other person's point of view. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need that third party who isn't connected to anything to give their opinion and maybe set you straight. Yeah.
And granted, we don't mean when every time you have a problem, go on Instagram live for it. But in terms of that narrative of, oh, that should just be kept private, I didn't like that. Because that's not the biggest issue. When we look at the way DaniLeigh was trying to defend herself, the biggest thing she was trying to clarify, which was embarrassing to me, was she's not a side chick. She spent hours just posting pictures of them together. Like, look I'm not a side chick. I'm not a side chick. Like, girl, that's the least of your worries.
I think that kind of, you could tell that when he said it, her face, it was like that. Like it hit her out of nowhere. Like,
and he knew it would. He knew it would. It triggered her. It did exactly what he wanted it to do.
So out of everything that was happening, you know, it's like when someone's trying to get a point across to you and you just hone in on this one thing. Part.
Not the fact that he kicked you. He was trying to kick you out at 3 a.m. Not the fact that you were on Instagram live while he's embarrassing you and telling everybody you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs after he probably drove you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Not the fact that she said, you just came in me last night. So men really want to blame crazy baby mamas, but y'all having unprotected sex and then want to say she's your side chick. The fact that he has 2 other people in the house recording you. He shared their baby, THE baby, the baby, their daughter on social media that they hadn't shared publicly ever. But yet she was focusing on proving I wasn't a side chick.
Yeah. So do you feel for her?
I feel for her, of course, because I feel like she's young. We got to remember that.
She has to be like, what, 26, 27?
I don't know. She's young. If you listen to last week's episode, we talked so much about how colorism has been embedded in our culture. She's Dominican. Very similar to what Danileigh was expressing with her family and her dating a dark-skinned man. Danileigh and I went to college and took all these woke classes and read all these woke books. DaniLeigh wanted to be a musician and an artist and continued to lean into that colorist narrative because it benefited her. It benefited her. And most of the women who are like myself and like DaniLeigh, we weren't always like that. We had to unlearn a lot of toxic shit. And just because we were so privileged to be exposed to truly knowing who we are and learning what colorism is and how we've been benefiting from a system of privilege without even realizing it, right? Just because of the way that our pigment is on our skin. We can't be upset with everyone who hasn't learned it yet. Of course, at a certain age and at a certain point, you're like, well, now you need to figure it out. You need to learn it. You need to get it together, right? But I don't think she should just be thrown out the window. However, I get it. It hurts because her specific narrative and her song was directly targeted at a Black woman of darker skin. So, of course, you want to defend her. You want to be defensive. And I get that. And I'm never saying forgive her for that. But if you forgive me and you forgive DaniLeigh and you forgive the other Dominican, Puerto Rican, Honduran girls who grow up leaning into the fact that they speak Spanish, leaning into the fact that they're a little exotic, leaning into the fact that they're fetishized by Black American men, by white men who unlearn that shit eventually, we have to have some compassion for DaniLeigh.
I think that I hear you, and that's beautiful. And I do think all the people you mentioned deserve forgiveness. Mm-hmm. But I think the issue with you saying DaniLeigh and DaniLeigh is confusing me.
The names.
DaniLeigh is that she doesn't seem to care much.
She hasn't learned it. And I get that. That's what I'm saying. She should still be held accountable.
I don't view her as some young girl. She's a woman.
Yeah.
She's a mother. Mm-hmm. She's a provider for her family. At some point, I feel like, all right, how much compassion or how much grace can we give this person before it's like, all right, you keep spitting in our face, or you're not even acknowledging the elephant in the room.
Yeah, and I don't even know if she's ever publicly like acknowledged how problematic everything was.
I remember when the song came out, I think she was kind of like,
didn't get it, like why everybody was upset,
or like basically like that's not me, I'll know that type stuff, and we don't know you. And there's some young women, some young dark-skinned women who have real problems with their skin and how they look or how they feel, how the world makes them feel, and you're just kind of leaning into that. It's just like a big fuck you to them.
Absolutely.
So I can see how those people or people who empathize for those people could be like, fuck you, go through that. This is your karma. I can see that. And I don't fault those people.
Yeah. Because I'm not saying I fault them either, but why can't both things be true? Why can't we think she's corny, that's fucked up? She needs to eventually acknowledge that, figure it out, learn it. You're way too old to still be saying like, I just didn't know any better, right? So the same way with Da Baby. Da Baby said all this homophobic shit.
It's still fuck him too.
Right? Try to apologize, went on this whole apology tour. And a lot of people are giving him grace because he's a Black man who probably was raised with homophobic rhetoric and was maybe grew up with fear of being gay because it would have been beat out of you or something like that, right?
Okay.
So we have to, a give and take. And that doesn't mean he should be forgiven because I haven't forgiven him. I haven't forgiven Dani for what she said. But what I'm saying is, if Da Baby, as a Black man, was racially profiled tomorrow and made headline news because some cop did some shit, we're going to still ride for him despite the homophobic things that he said. Or no?
still ride for him, but probably not as much as I would for someone who didn't do those things.
But do you get what I'm saying?
No, I get
we
it.
could still be upset with him for what he said.
Two things can be true.
For those homophobic comments. But if tomorrow a white cop does some racial profiling towards him, it's going to be a problem. So I feel like with Dani she said some colorist shit. She was leaning into this black woman's pain. But now misogyny and the basura have humiliated her in a way that I would never wish that upon anyone. And I feel like I want to ride for her for that. Not to defend what she's done, but to bring light to that problem, because
like, this is not okay. And
and it happens to all women. Not just the colorist ones. All women are going through that in private. So I feel like it's an opportunity to bring light to a bigger situation for like women in a more broad sense.
No, I hear you.
You know?
That it's going to take, I need some grace to give them grace.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. I do feel for her, and the whole shit was embarrassing. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of different narratives going on online. One of them was like, Da Baby did what y'all women be doing all the time, basically like kicking men out.
What?
And I see a lot of feedback on it. You'd be surprised. Of course, it's mostly men saying, yeah. But, we got to...
But usually when men get kicked out,
it's for a reason.
It's for a reason.
It's never because you woke up on,
3 a.m. and just say, let's get out of here.
Yeah, you look ugly to me now.
Yeah. It's most likely infidelity or abuse or something.
Exactly. So we got to be real. Mm-hmm. But, people are going to push their narratives the way they want, leave out little truths.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Another perspective was, since things got chaotic, Da Baby knew he had to cover his ass because he's already in deep water. So he wanted to have proof of what was really happening.
I do agree that was his goal.
That was his goal.
I do agree that. He has gone through a lot. And it wasn't until the CEO of the LGBTQ forgave him and allowed him to start making money again that he's been able to be in the spotlight again. Mm-hmm. It's a joke, but there was some CEO of some LGBTQ organization that basically sanctioned him going on tour again. Insane. But the point is, yes, I do believe that he's a little he has some PTSD from what he did, because although he was being wrong and strong, he's starting to see like, oh shit, the bags are slowing up. You don't want.
But I don't get in what world he thought that made things better. Like, why not just record it? Let's say. Why go on live?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I would record it, but that's some next level toxic shit.
Yeah, but if the true intent was
to protect himself,
I'm protecting myself. It didn't need to go on live, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the real intent was to embarrass her. Public humiliation. That's a form of abuse.
Call her a side chick.
Yeah. Do you remember years ago, there was this guy in Washington Heights, I believe, or maybe the Bronx. I guess he found out his girl cheated on him. And he forced her to walk outside naked and recorded it and was like, she's a hoe, X,
Sounds
Y,
familiar.
and Z. And he didn't beat her, but that's not abuse. You get what I'm saying? Like, he literally had her walking outside naked, humiliated her, and put it all over the internet. So what was his goal with going on live? Because if it was to protect yourself, you would just record it.
That kind of reminds me of like revenge porn.
Yeah.
Like, if we have a tape that we made and when we were happy, and then all of a sudden we're not, and then I put it on Instagram.
It's just toxic all around. And
I think so. I just think they both made a lot of mistakes in that situation. Him more than her. Just her trying to defend herself. Like, once you saw the camera was on you,
she should have left.
Pick up your baby and go.
She felt like she had to get the last word. Now she had to prove that he's the bad one. look what he's doing to me. And it's true. And I'm sure in hindsight, she probably wishes, like, I wish I had the dignity to just be like, I'm out. Even when he kicked her out at 3 a.m., what she should have done was leave. And that's it.
Because I think the narrative would have changed if, let's say, the baby's on live talking shit and you see he's saying something insane about DaniLeigh and then puts the camera on her and she goes, takes her baby, packs her stuff, and walks out. Now it's like, oh, the baby looks insane. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, to the people with a brain. But we also know there's people who...
we've seen the other side.
People who are championing him.
Yeah, and then there's also that stigma that Latinas are crazy and spicy and, oh my gosh, she must have been going crazy. And he really called the cops on her.
She got like a minor, I forget the charge, but something minor.
Some type of assault.
Yeah.
What was it called? Simple assault charge. What the hell is simple assault?
Because you be simply assaulting me all the time, so... See?
With my eyes and
that's what she did.
This tongue.
Hey, yo.
So this, I want to move on into another topic that's kind of tied to it.
Okay.
So I had this conversation with my girls a few times, and this kind of brought it full circle, right? Because I have this friend group. 2 of us are married. 1 of us is engaged. 1 of us is single. 1 of us is just in a relationship. So it's like different perspectives when it comes to relationship status. One of my married friend says, women need to stop giving it up to married men. Like, married men wouldn't be cheating if girls weren't throwing their ass back, right? I've always had a totally different perspective. My perspective has always been, it's not the woman's fault at all. It's the man's fault. I still have that same perspective. It's on the person who has the commitment, not the other woman or the other man. It's always whoever has the commitment to you that should be held responsible, right?
I agree.
So I find it corny as hell when like women want to go beat up the mistress or any of that. It's just dumb. Because then they want to beat up the mistress to still stay with their ain't shit man anyway. So it's like, you look stupid. But the only thing that in having all these conversations with my friends, I've kind of shifted my perspective on is women also having a sense of responsibility to turn down married men.
Okay.
What?
So, just to clarify.
Okay.
You're saying that if I was stepping out and there was someone who knew I was married and it immediately was like, hold up, that's it. There's nothing else can be said.
Like if she knows you're married, she should turn you down. However, it's not because she owes me anything.
Okay.
Not as a responsibility to me, but just for herself. Because we are also in a time, in a generation, where we're always talking about manifesting what we want in our life, karma, good energy. What do you think you're going to bring onto your own life if you know you're an active participant in an affair? Right? And the reason I say this connects to the baby and the DaniLeigh situation is when the baby was publicly humiliating his baby mother, and the baby mother thought they were together, but he was with DaniLeigh. DaniLeigh was very cute in the post and feeling like very pick-me, and yellow bone is what he wants, knowing what he has done to embarrass the baby mom. And now look at the situation that she's in.
Okay. I see the connection there. I don't know if I totally agree with, it just feels like you're kind of taking some of the ownership on, let's say, the man in this situation. Mm-hmm. It's on him.
Absolutely.
Because just like everything, our favorite word to use on this podcast, nuances. Mm-hmm. I highly doubt there's someone who's like, ooh, he's married. I need that.
There are people like that. There are. I've literally heard people say men with wedding rings are sexier, more attractive. I've heard people say sex is better when it's with a married man or with someone who's in a relationship, because they're having sex with you in ways they wish they were having with their partner. People fetishize being the other woman, the mistress. Even in monogamous relationships, couples use that to spice up their sex life. Oh, let's role play like I'm your mistress. Am I lying?
You're not lying. Damn, you got me up against the ropes.
And I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that the cheating person loses any responsibility. It's 100% your fault. And I'm not even saying that the mistress has responsibility in anything that happens in our relationship. I'm saying for yourself as a person, as what you want to receive for your own life, turn them down. It's not going to bring anything good to you, for you. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. But back to my earlier point, even though there are people like that they want something specifically with people in relationship, married, whatever, I do think there are nuances that can happen where someone could stumble into having strong feelings for someone who's taken.
Yeah.
That can happen. Mm-hmm. Now, I do think it's problematic if there's someone who like wakes up and saying, which married man can I fuck today? That's problematic. Mm-hmm. But I don't shame the people who kind of find themselves in a hard, stuck between a rock and a hard place. Mm-hmm. That can happen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then, like I said, my only issue with you saying, want better for yourself, basically, mm-hmm. is that it feels like it takes a little bit off the man in the situation. Mm-hmm. That's my only issue.
No. So how about the person who knows they're in a relationship and it's kind of just a sexual encounter? Like they don't have dates or it doesn't get emotional, but they kind of just meet up every once in a while for casual sex.
I think it's up to what that person wants out their life. If that person outside of that situation is just like, woe is me, I wish I had someone to call my own. I want to get married one day. I want to start a family. But then they're going out and having this sexual encounter with this married person. Then yeah, come on. We're just saying man and woman in this situation. Come on, sis. Want better for yourself. Treat yourself better and maybe better things will come to you. But
if you invest less time into that, you'd have more free time to find your person.
Exactly. But if this person is saying, no, I'm good the way my life is. This is what I want. Just want some dick. And this guy who happens to be married is doing it right.
But can't you just say, why not get some unmarried dick? Why not just go on Tinder or go somewhere else and find someone who's not married? Or they might be married and you don't even know about it. That's different. But if they're like, oh yeah, I only could stay till 6 because then I got to pick up
my kids
from their recital or something, like.
Yeah. No, I it's not right. Mm-hmm. But I don't think every woman fucking a married man necessarily wants that for themselves. So
like what you mean wants like a marriage for their own?
Exactly. So it's like you're saying if you want good things to come to your life, then do better. But what if I don't want these better things? So then who's it on?
Better doesn't necessarily mean a husband and a house and a picket fence.
So do you think just a bunch of negative things are
just negativity in general?
So your understanding or the way you view it is that a bunch of negative things is going to come into your life.
Not necessarily like a bunch of negative things are going to come at you like this is a movie or a book, but things that you might want, like there's a negative aura that could possibly be there because of what's going on. And it doesn't have to be specifically in a relationship because like you said, well, maybe they don't want to ever get married. Like they like having casual sex with married men. Well, maybe it's a job that they want.
But let's just say men. and they don't give a fuck who it is. They don't care. They're not axing. Like if there's a woman who just enjoys having casual sex, and that's perfectly fine, and she sees someone she's attracted to in the street or on the social media, and she approaches them, and that person's with it. Do you fault her for not asking questions? Like,
no, I'm just saying once you do know.
And if she does know and still follows through with it with no hesitation, then you feel like nothing good to come to her.
No, because I don't think negativity or energy and anything works directly that way. Like it's such a flip of a coin. If that was the case, then the fucking world would be upside down. But I'm saying as individuals, as me, let's say, I'm not going to project on anybody else. I can't say, let's manifest this for our show, for our podcast. Thank you for the love and support. And then at the same time, have a friend telling me, oh yeah, this guy, I'm fucking, he has 3 kids and a wife, but we do this. And I'm like, go ahead, girl. And encouraging it without feeling like that is going against everything else that I preach in terms of positivity, good energy, and, good things in my life and in the world.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I hear you.
Like, would it make me a hypocrite if I'm just so supportive of and especially as a married person? You know what I'm saying? Like, do
you think prior to being married or prior to meeting me, maybe if these same conversations were happening in your group chat, you might be like, oh, word, really?
And even while we were married, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a new perspective that I'm kind of gaining.
Okay.
Even while we were married, I'm very like, hoe is life, do what you want. Like, I've had women ask like, I'm feeling this way about them, but the wife. And I'm like, that's not your wife, that's his wife. If he doesn't care, why should you? I've had this is probably verbatim of conversation I might have had with somebody not so long ago. But now I'm challenging my own ideas with that and maybe wanting to shift that. And that doesn't mean that I think every woman who sleeps with a married man ain't shit and her life ain't gonna be shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, should there be a shift in my perspective, and then in the general perspective of like-minded women and people, and kind of forming this sisterhood, this unspoken sisterhood amongst women where we kind of do respect marriage. You get what I'm saying?
Even if it's something you don't want.
Even if it's something you don't want for yourself.
So do you think there should be a brotherhood?
In what sense?
Same exact thing on men.
Like, don't sleep with a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've had guys like either try and get with my significant other, or some of them have been successful. I'm not talking about you.
Oh, whoa.
And so you think they should have had more respect for me as a fellow man?
Well, I'm talking about marriage. No, because you were cheating on her too.
They didn't know that.
But I'm talking specifically about marriage.
So this is only on marriage, not
or
long-term.
Like more serious long-term relationships. People who have homes together, children together, a life together. Not everyone decides to make it legal, but I'm not talking about your situation with your hot ass.
Why you can't give me grace? I was in pain.
You were cheating on her.
It still hurt.
But so, and if I'm supposed to give you grace, I'm talking about all this energy and you kind of reap what you sow.
So you just felt like I had it coming.
Not that you had it coming, but you can't compare what I'm talking about with womanhood and sisterhood and infidelity and marriage and then pull it back to your relationship where y'all were all cheating on each other.
My main focus is talking about you said sisterhood. So I'm saying, do you feel like there should be a brotherhood?
So why couldn't your example be like, men should know that you're my wife and they should cross a line there and not try to cross that boundary with you and not bring it back to a relationship where y'all were both cheating on each other. I was using
an example.
And it was a poor example.
I don't agree. But back to my main question.
Okay, bring it back. Tell me how that's a good example.
Because there was someone who didn't know the dynamic of our relationship and still went ahead with it.
Did y'all have your own place together?
No,
she basically
lived with me. No. You got me thinking, no.
So my thing is, to an outsider, especially as young as y'all were, there wasn't anything that seemed like that was something worth protecting there. It was different.
Okay. So I'm trying to be clear on what you're saying.
Okay.
So this only applies to people who have built something together and or married.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, infidelity of any kind at any level is messed up. And I get that. But when I feel like I'm talking about grown people shit, people who are living together, married, have children, are in serious relationships, and forming a sisterhood in the sense of like drawing that line so you aren't causing pain to someone who has this established life with someone, right? And that doesn't mean you're going to prevent that pain from happening to her, because a person who's decided they're going to cheat, you turn him down, he's going to find someone else. But it takes that weight off your conscience, and you didn't play a role in it. So then for you to bring it back and say, should I be upset and there should have been a brotherhood when people were sleeping with my girlfriend? It seems like you're minimizing what I'm trying to say.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just trying to, I was hoping you would say, yes, there should be a brotherhood.
But do you get my example is very different. Okay, how about we talk about our married friends, our friends with children, our friends that live together? Yes, in this community, in this age group, yes, there should be a brotherhood there. But you're saying, should I be mad at like Tom, Dick, and Harry that slept with my girlfriend from 7 years ago? Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those kinds of situations.
I disagree, because you're minimizing relationships because like they're younger or whatever toxic shit was going on. It was fucked up.
So you should say also, so then the women that I was sleeping with in those relationships, should I have some respect for my girl too at the time?
If they knew, yes.
Okay. What?
Nothing. I guess we're going to agree to disagree. But, yeah.
So do we disagree?
No, we don't disagree. Like I kind of agree with the sisterhood thing, but back to my earlier point, I do think the person who's responsible, the most responsible, is the person who's in the relationship. And that to me, nothing falls on the other person or the woman, no. if it's a woman.
And I want to clarify then, if that's what you think I'm trying to say, that is not what I'm trying to say. It's still 100% on the partner who's responsible in that relationship, who has any commitment to that other main relationship. There's no responsibility ever taken from them. On the other hand, I wish on women to want better for themselves, to not be second best, to not feel like, oh, I'm giving him something his wife doesn't give him, and it be like a badge of honor. To want your own happiness and your own peace. And even if you don't want your own relationship and your own love story, at least take some pride in not being one of the stones removed from a house and being part of the drama. Because even if you turn that guy down, he's going to cheat with somebody else. I'm not saying you're going to be the decision maker. Oh, if I turn him down, his marriage is going to be perfect. No. But now that whatever happens with their marriage is never going to ever fall on your shoulders or on your conscience. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it takes responsibility from the cheating partner.
I get it.
Do you?
I do.
I don't know. Travis doesn't like me right now.
I'm cool. Listen, if anybody knows me, you know me. I don't hold anything. We're not going to like have an argument after this.
We might. No, I'm kidding.
I'm chilling. I am chilling. I'm
fine.
It's not that deep to me. I do think it's an interesting way of looking at it. Mm-hmm. And I do think there is something to it. There is something to, depending on what you want out of your life, that it's not like do something bad happens to you. It's not that simple, but there is some type of energy.
Yeah, and it's like if you're wasting your time sleeping with married men when what you want out of life is something long term, then you're wasting time, and it's pushing further and further away what you actually want for yourself.
No, I agree.
You know? But no, like if, God forbid, because you know better, but if I find out about some woman, I'm not going to say it's her fault. Like, you were supposed to be my sister. No, that's not what I mean. I would never mean that. It's all on you.
Okay.
But at the same time, I would feel bad for her. I would have some compassion for her and be like, this stupid motherfucker would manipulate you. And I wish you had the dignity and the self-respect to have stopped it and let him have tried with someone else. So now this isn't on your conscience. Does that make sense?
It does. What do you think about people, since we've been married, there's people who've like tried you or flirted with you?
I'm not that hot, babe. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
It's the cap for me.
It's the cap? Okay.
Besides the fact that you're beautiful, can we be honest? There have been people who have tried you and it's been on you to turn them down. Mm-hmm. That has happened, yes.
Okay, yeah. But you make it seem like
I'm not saying it's a bunch.
A big thing, like a big issue.
But I'm saying it has happened.
Yeah.
Just like there's women who have flirted with me openly, mm-hmm. probably even more so with the ring. It's whatever. It's happened. We cannot deny these facts. Mm-hmm. It's like a fucking lawyer over here. So in the case that it was a man, should he have enough respect for himself, for me as his brother, that he shouldn't have done that?
Yeah, absolutely. Unless there was a clear sign that I needed an escape. Like if I was throwing him a rope. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, he should. He should have some self-respect and some dignity and not do that shit. Absolutely.
Case closed. That's all I wanted you to say.
And I never disagreed. I just thought you brought a really bad example because I was clearly talking about how in the past, how I viewed these things. But now in this age, in this part of my life, and having more friends that are married and in long-term committed relationships, this perspective is shifting. So it just didn't make sense that your understanding of that was, oh, let's go back and these motherfuckers did me wrong. That was the shift that I really disagree with, Right. But just now, this example is like, yes, that's exactly what I mean. Men who clearly see me posting you, and especially now with our podcast and everything, if anybody's trying to get in my DMs, trying to get with me, it's like, what a fucking weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, but and my point is, what?
I was going to say, get at us both, and we still like each other.
Or the bigger point is, if I'm in some guy's DM, should he be like, whoa, bitch, chill?
That's my brother.
And not even without saying all of that, but just being like, no, this is corny.
No, I get it.
You get what I'm saying?
I get it.
Same, I would hope with you. Like, I would think it would be so corny, like, if you just hopped in some girl's DM right now. Like, I would literally feel so bad for her if she, like, took you up on your offer. Like, I would feel bad. Like, damn, it's hard like that out here. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Brothers and sisters, just love one another.
And again, this is something that like is a new idea that I've been like back and forth in my head with, and like I might not even make 100% sense.
You're hashing it out in real time.
Real time, and it's because remember we had an episode where we talk about how friendships change over time. The reason they change is because the things in our life change, our relationships with other people change. So I feel like in getting older and in seeing like when I have these conversations, because I still have friends that I know that are sleeping with married men. Like, that's just the reality of it. It's like not hitting the same. Like those conversations.
So it's not like, yes, bitch.
It's not like, okay, girl, how was it? It's more so like,
I want to hug you.
Why are we doing this? Like, let's look at this,
Let's unpack this.
Let's unpack this. Like, why do you feel like you need to be doing this? Like, it's changing. And not only because I'm married and I'm worried and I don't want it to happen to us, but more so like, I wouldn't ever want to sleep with married men anymore at this point in my life, because I just feel like it's a waste of my time. I'm too old for that shit. And then having a son, and then the impact that I know, like, let's say Eli reads your text and sees that you're cheating. I think of that with another family. Like, oh my God, imagine their 10-year-old, 6-year-old notices or finds out, like, the impact that this could have on their life.
We're watching The Bachelorette.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys was saying,
no more water. Go ahead.
One of the guys was saying that his father, he called his father. He said something made him go into his dad's phone at a very young age, and he saw that he was like messaging another woman, and he told his mom. And then like the next day or the next weekend, his mom woke him up and said, "Come on, we're moving."
So he felt guilty.
And like he's a grown 30-year-old man now, and
that shit still bugs him.
Still on his heart, still on his soul. Mm-hmm. So yes, that is,
like those things are coming to mind now. Whereas like before, I'd be like, girl, go ahead, do you, fuck it, you only live once. That's their problem. Their marriage probably sucks. I'm looking at it in a different perspective, and like, even if their marriage does suck, even if that shows that they shouldn't be together, you shouldn't want to play a role in it.
Yeah, don't be like the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, like let them deal with that without you having to put your own conscience on it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of my point.
I get it, baby.
I might hear this back and be like, bitch, what the fuck you said?
And then that's why we have more and more episodes. Anyway, right. Baby.
Daddy.
Do you still like me?
I still do, even though I yelled at you.
We're good. This is. If you notice, I didn't flinch because.
No, you told people I do simple assault. Now you're gonna have people calling you and being like, "Are you okay, Travis?" Blink.
Help! No.
I love you.
Love you more.